Some of the most observant people in the world are the ones who speak the least. Yet, if you're someone who tends to stay quiet in conversations, you've probably heard the same comment again and again. Why are you so quiet? You should talk more. Are you shy? At some point, it can start to feel like being quiet is a flaw, like you're somehow missing a social skill everyone else seems to have. But psychology suggests something very different. In fact, the people who are often labeled as too quiet frequently possess powerful mental traits that others simply don't notice at first glance. Because silence is often misunderstood, but behind that silence, there is usually deep observation, emotional awareness, and a mind that processes the world in a unique way. If people often say you're too quiet, psychology says you may have these 4 powerful traits. The first trait is heightened observation. Quiet people tend to notice what others miss. While many people focus on what they want to say next, quieter individuals often focus on what's actually happening around them. Psychology research on attention and perception shows that people who speak less in social situations often allocate more cognitive resources to observing their environment. In simple terms, they watch, they listen, they notice details. For example, in a group conversation, a quiet person might notice subtle things others overlook. Who seems uncomfortable? Who is pretending to laugh? Who is dominating the conversation? Even small changes in tone, facial expressions, or body language can stand out more clearly. This heightened observation often makes quiet people excellent judges of character. They don't rush to conclusions. Instead, they gather information quietly before forming an opinion. And while louder personalities might be noticed first, the quiet observer is often the one who truly understands what's going on. The second trait is deep thinking. Many quiet people are constantly processing information internally. Instead of speaking immediately, they think things through. Psychologists often connect this with a more reflective cognitive style. Rather than reacting quickly, reflective thinkers pause, analyze, and evaluate before responding. Imagine being in a meeting where someone asks a complex question. Some people will answer instantly, but the quiet person might stay silent at first. Not because they don't have an answer, but because they're mentally exploring multiple possibilities. Research in cognitive psychology suggests that reflective thinkers often generate more thoughtful and nuanced responses when they do speak. They're not trying to dominate the conversation, they're trying to understand it. This is why quiet people sometimes surprise others with incredibly insightful comments. They may not talk often, but when they do, people listen, because their words tend to carry weight. The third trait is strong emotional awareness. Silence often creates space for emotional perception. When someone isn't constantly talking, they become more sensitive to emotional signals around them. Psychology research on emotional intelligence shows that attentive listeners are better at recognizing subtle emotional cues. They pick up on tension in a room. They sense when someone is feeling left out. They notice when someone's words don't match their emotions. For example, a quiet person might notice when a friend says, "I'm fine," but their voice sounds different. Or when someone smiles but their eyes seem tired. Because they are listening not just to words, but to feelings. This emotional awareness can make quiet individuals incredibly supportive friends. They often understand what someone is going through without needing long explanations. And while they may not always express it loudly, their empathy runs deep. The fourth trait is inner independence. When someone is comfortable with silence, it often means they are less dependent on external validation. Many people feel pressure to fill every quiet moment with words. Silence can feel awkward to them. But people who are naturally quiet tend to have a stronger connection to their inner world. They don't feel the same urgency to constantly perform socially. Psychology suggests that individuals who are comfortable being quiet often have a stronger sense of self-reflection. They spend more time thinking about their beliefs, their values, and their experiences. This inner independence allows them to make decisions based on their own judgment, rather than simply following the crowd. For example, in a group where everyone agrees on something quickly, the quiet person might still be reflecting. They are not easily pulled into group pressure. They think for themselves. And sometimes that quiet independence is exactly what allows them to see things more clearly than everyone else. So the next time someone says you're too quiet, it might not mean what they think it means. It might mean you're observing more, thinking deeper, feeling more, and relying on your own internal compass rather than the noise around you. In a world that often rewards the loudest voice in the room, quiet people can sometimes feel invisible. But silence is not emptiness. Often it's depth. Some of the most thoughtful ideas, the most accurate observations, and the most genuine understanding come from people who speak less but notice more. So if you've ever been told you're too quiet, maybe it's not something you need to fix. Maybe it's something you need to understand. Because sometimes the quietest people are the ones who see the world most clearly. If this resonated with you, you're definitely not alone. And if you enjoy exploring the hidden strengths behind different personality traits, subscribe for more psychology insights that help you better understand yourself and the people around you.
Remember, being quiet is not a weakness. It's a sign of depth, awareness, and independence. Some of the most observant and insightful people you'll ever meet are the ones who speak the least. Embrace your quiet nature and notice the world more deeply than anyone else.